Modern Warfare 3 Season 3 Reloaded brings us the Zombies update we have been waiting for as we enter the Dark Ether on a rescue mission. Or is it really a rescue mission? We also have chaotic new changes coming to Warzone's game modes, cool updates for multiplayer, and plenty of new gear and equipment to shake up the way you play Call of Duty. And this update will give you the taste for brains. So with all the Zombies content coming, let's go ahead and start off by talking about the multiplayer and the Warzone side. Multiplayer, we're getting a couple new things in the season that are going to be pretty cool. We're getting a brand new playlist update for an arcade mode playlist. This arcade mode gives you power-ups, and eliminated enemies will drop a power-up when they die, granting one of two temporary abilities: unlimited ammo or unlimited grenades. With unlimited grenades, you're basically going to be role-playing Bad Company 2 grenade spam. The arcade mode playlist is also giving us specialized weapons. These specialized weapons will have overpowered features than what they would normally have, such as a more sniper rifle with almost instantaneous hit scan and other kind of weapons scattered around. You'll notice these across all the arcade mode maps because they'll be having a giant glowing aura around them, and they will be floating off the ground. So they'll be pretty easy to notice, and they're pretty powerful in the arcade mode. So I recommend you pick one up and try it out because this is basically like the old school party games for Call of Duty. We're also getting the new playlist game mode of Vortex. You'll redeploy to the otherworldly Vortex playlist, which has all of the Vortex maps that we've come to love over the last couple seasons of Call of Duty. We have Airborne, Satan's Quarry, Skid Grove, Spore Yard, Tetanus, and a bunch of other ones. So make sure that you keep cool and focus on the objective in the Vortex mosh pit, or risk losing your sanity and having a taste for brains with these twisted map variants. And speaking of maps, we're also getting two new multiplayer maps this season. The first is Checkpoint. So with Rebirth Island finally out in the wild, there's a good chance you've probably already seen this area. It's the island's eastern stronghold point of interest. It'll be a blocked off area with no second or third floor access. Basically everything will be on the first floor and might have some second floor areas. It'll be all centered around the roundabout in the middle of the area, and you'll have to fight there. However, the other map is the one that I think is kind of funny. The map is called Grime. It's a dockside district with graffiti covered areas in London with remnants of an old comms building, a Captain's Dog pub, and some defunct bow house. And you can even swim through this kind of nasty canal, which is kind of funny to me because this map is called Grime, and it's supposed to give you the sense that it's really dirty and defunct and a really abandoned area of London. But this is actually what London's dockyards look like. Might even be a little bit cleanlier than some of the dockyards that I've seen in my life. But moving on, Warzone's got some pretty cool changes coming this season. The first is the new utility box. The utility box combines ammo and armor boxes together. So you get everything from bullets to grenades to armor all from one box. You can purchase this box at buy stations for a higher price than regular armor or ammo boxes, or you can find it as a piece of ground loot. Personally, I think this would be pretty effective because it means that you don't have to carry two boxes to keep your team supplied in combat, but it might be a little bit more helpful in big map Warzone than Resurgence. We're also getting weapon trade stations. The weapon trade stations return to help kind of fill your pockets. So you trade in a weapon for one of a lower rarity plus some extra loot. Usually it's kind of cash or extra ammo. The way this usually works is if I put in a orange gun, the highest tier, I'll either get back a purple or a blue gun, a chunk of cash, and some ammo for the new gun I got. However, if you trade in a gray gun, you're going to get another gray gun with probably a little bit less quality, meaning if you trade in an AR, you're going to probably get a shotgun back and extra ammo and a little bit of cash. So if you find an orange weapon that you might not be interested in using, such as an over-zoom sniper rifle on Rebirth Island, trade it in at a weapon trade station, get some extra loot, get some extra money, and maybe it'll give you a weapon that you can actually use. But Rebirth Island's also bringing back the perk package specialist, so you can get all the perks in the game with the specialist activated. Your operator will have all the perks from battle hardened to double time to cold blooded to payout to prime, quick fix, bird's eye, combat scout. Everything that is a perk in Modern Warfare 3 and Warzone will be given to you as a perk in your specialist bonus. However, this is going to be something that's very hard to find because Call of Duty has said that it's going to be part of either an Easter egg challenge or hidden somewhere specific in a vault or a bunker, which kind of ties into their leaks about Call of Duty Zombies for the bunkers I'm talking about here in a minute. But as far as Warzone goes, we also have a new kill streak, Foresight. This will be exclusive to Rebirth Island, and it'll show you every single zone through the rest of the match. However, it'll show you where these zones are and your entire team will be able to see them, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to win the game. You still have to get to where you're going to be the best spot to win and, win gunfights. So this new kill streak is pretty cool, but given to a team with a good kill death ratio, this might be an overpowered perk for some of those better teams out there. We also have a new public event coming to Season 3 Reloaded. We'll actually have two. We have the Heavy Armor event, which is a rare occurrence at Infill that will raise the number of armor plates that you can carry, meaning instead of having 3 armor plates, you'll have 4, buffing your health from 150 points to 200 points for the entire match. So this will be something that's going to be kind of really helpful. But the other public event is those infill strikes. The infill strikes are finally happening on Rebirth Island with a new update, meaning that at the beginning of the match, one of 3 points of interest, either the prison, the lighthouse, or the water tower, is going to get struck by an airstrike at the beginning of the match, or none of them might get struck, but it will happen every game. And this is coming alongside the Rebirth Island update that gives us dynamic lighting. So we have a sunset map, a kind of gray overcast map, and a blue sky map like we've seen so far on Rebirth Island. With a couple different variations of the map, it's something I'm pretty excited for because it kind of mixes up the way you play the game and it makes it feel like you're playing a new map every single round. But we also have some cool new gear and equipment coming at the Season 3 Reloaded update, so here's what we got coming. We got the Ball 27 AR. This was the premier AR of Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Your first 4 shots fire at a lower rate of fire, but with almost exact precision on follow-up shots, and then after that your rate of fire goes up and you get a lot higher recoil. However, with those first 4 shots being very accurate, it's probably going to be the go-to gun in Warzone after the update comes out. We're also getting the Enhanced Vision Goggles. These are Enhanced Vision Goggles that outline enemies in red, outline your teammates in blue, and allow you to see through gas and smoke and all those other type of things. So if an enemy is using a smoke grenade to try to get to their loadout, you can actually see them through the smoke, and it's something that you're going to use as a field upgrade, however. So it'll have a limited amount of time that you can actually use it. From what I understand, it'll probably be about 15 seconds, so it's better to use it towards the end of the game if you can't find the enemy because they're using smoke grenades. As it's time and a place, and I think it might be really helpful for search and destroy, we're also getting the new EMD mine. This is a mine that sticks to walls and ceilings and every single type of structure in the game. However, it's a mine that when the enemy walks past, it will shoot out a tracker and show the enemy to your entire team on the minimap. Now this is pretty cool because it can be used for game modes like search and destroy. That way you can plant it near the bomb, and when someone comes near, you can get that tracker showing you exactly where they are when they're trying to defuse the bomb. But you know, it has its time and place, and I don't think this is going to be a piece of equipment that most people will end up using. It might be one of those pieces of ground loot that you just throw down when you're playing Warzone just in case someone comes up behind you, but it's for a very specific audience out there. Moving on, zombies. Zombies is the biggest part of this update that most people want to hear about. So let's go ahead and start by talking about the story of zombies has kind of evolved. So Ava Jensen, who's the doctor we saved in the first chapter and we've been kind of working with throughout the kind of rest of the game because she has affiliations with Zakaya, has been revealed to have some type of like magic zombie superpower or something, and it has something to do with the dark ether. Now it's not exactly explained what's going on, but it's hinted that their powers might have come from her mother, and she doesn't really know who her mother is. She starts to hear voices and draws her into a dark ether portal, but upon doing this, it kind of begs the question, did she get tricked into this, or did she go willingly? And now that she's in the dark ether, Sergei Ravenov and the rest of your kind of task force are going to go in and try to save her. But the question then becomes, does she even need rescuing, and does she want to be saved? Regardless, this chapter will see you going after Ava Jensen, trying to save her from the dark ether, and along the way you're going to encounter a new boss that's really going to be a variation of the Acolyte that we've seen so far from Call of Duty Zombies, but it's something that nonetheless is still pretty interesting. As far as things adding to the kind of zombie storyline, we also have the vaults. So around the map of Urzikstan, much like the original map of Verdansk, there's all these different vaults scattered around. These vaults themselves actually kind of have some zombie sense in them. One of the vaults underneath the kind of center of the map that you went in had large bile tanks filled with zombies in them that had been left there for quite a while. The computer and technology around it seemed to be from the 90s, hinting a little bit more about that kind of Black Ops 5 as we now know it's going to be called, and a bunch of leaks with that, which I have a whole other video coming up on that tomorrow, so make sure you subscribe for that. But the zombies storyline is kind of building up to a head here. We're getting more and more leaks, kind of tying back into the story of what the next Call of Duty will be, Black Ops 5, which takes place in the 90s. Ava Jensen's kind of reached her kind of maximum point where she's realizing she has powers and she's in the dark ether, but we also want to make sure that she's using her powers for good. And with all of this, we also have some new equipment coming to zombies that's going to basically change a lot of the way you play. The first is the golden mask filter. Now this is a filter that you attach to your gas mask that automatically regenerates your gas mask health over time. It gives you a lot more life over time, as well as it'll automatically regenerate at the same rate it gets destroyed in places like the dark ether or in the gas containment zones. It'll also help out with some of the zombie stronghold buildings where you have to go in and clear out all these pox off the walls. This will help you by regenerating at the exact same rate it's getting destroyed, and then it'll also regenerate when you're not in these zones. So getting a little breath of fresh air will help regenerate your mask. But the cooler one to me is the dead wire detonator. This is a dead wire ammo mod for your launchers in the game. So things like your Strela, RPG, grenade launcher, all that stuff, you can attach the dead wire ammo mod to now, which is something you couldn't do previously. But one of the things I'm very excited for is because these launchers have a very wide area of effect, but when you detonate one of these rocket launchers RPGs in a large area of zombies, the shock should be able to travel from zombie to zombie and kill a bunch of them, as well as having a very wide area of effect, so you can pick off a lot of zombies pretty quickly, especially when they get into horde groups. However, the other one that I want to talk about is one that I'm not really sure how to feel about this. It's a red beret. That's it. That's your entire piece of equipment. It's a red beret. But somehow, Call of Duty video game logic says that this red beret means that Zakhaev's mercs, who are actual humans scattered around the zombies' wasteland that you have in Urzikstan, will no longer attack you because you have a red beret. And on top of that, they'll even ignore you most of the time because you have a red beret. But along with all of this red beret stuff, you're also going to get a personal bodyguard from Zakhaev's army who's going to stick by your side and fight for you viciously and ferociously through the entire match. And when you actually exfil at the end of the match, he's going to stay on the ground to make sure that the area is clear for the helicopter to take off. So he's basically like expendable human that you get because you have a red beret. I find it kind of funny and also kind of weird because a red beret all of a sudden gives you the power to be ignored by human people in a zombies warfare map, but at the same time, it also means that you're a high-ranking official and you should have a bodyguard with you at all times. I don't know, it's just something goofy to me. But the zombies side of it, I'm really excited for all these changes coming, and there's gonna be a lot more kind of Easter eggs tying into zombies that we're gonna start seeing around the map as some of these other vaults start getting opened up. And we may even see some zombies tie-ins on the map of Rebirth Island. So tell me what you're most excited for down below, and until next time, I am IceBurgz, your Call of Duty informant. Stay frosty.